again, details just emerging now that a vehicle driving on Route 90, that's along the eastern border of Israel there, a major highway, opened fire. Gunfire was opened on a bus now from on that road now. We don't know a lot of the details now, but the bus came under fire. 2 people apparently wounded so far. This is in the Jordan Valley near the town of Heba. Again, rescue teams are on scene as we speak, and this is an incident unfolding. But again, so far, 2 people injured in that attack. And to get into what's known about that and the bigger picture of issues we prepared to discuss with you today, we're joined by IDF Reserve Colonel Alon Eviatar, Palestinian affairs expert and a former COGAT advisor, liaison with the Palestinian Civil Affairs. It's joining us from Jerusalem here. Alon, thanks for being with us here. Some big stories to get into concerning Hamas and other issues in the West Bank. But first of all, on this attack as it's unfolding now, if you could shed a little light on us, what's known at this point? How's it look?
Well, it will be better if we shall wait for the results of the and the conclusion of the investigation. But I can add in this time that we are in the beginning, I think, of a trend, of a process which exists in the West Bank, which means increasing of the motivations of a lot of Palestinian young people to hold a gun and to participate in terror acts. I think that the most, I would say, worries. I think that we can see, especially in the north of the West Bank, now including in the Jordan Valley, increasing of motivation of those Palestinians to participate in violence against the IDF, against the Israelis over there. And I think that we can see also losing control of the Palestinian Authority over there, which means the Palestinian Authority, the PA, prefer that the security apparatuses of the PA will not be involved in preventing terror attacks from those areas, which means Jenin district, Nablus district, the Samaria as well.
Here. I mean,
and
this
now,
is decades of this high-level security coordination between Israel and the Palestinian Authority security forces. A lot of that alone focused on holding Hamas down in these areas here. And that was one of the main stories, the impetus for really wanting to bring you on today. Obviously, we know details emerging from this attack right now, this being the latest to come out of the West Bank. But Hamas in focus today. Articles, rights groups actually reporting that 5 people were executed by Hamas in the Gaza Strip here. 2 of them labeled as the horrendous term, quote-unquote, collaborator with Israel there, executed in the Gaza Strip. I believe it's the most executed since 2017. I mean, what is Hamas up to in the Gaza Strip today, and how much of this is connected to what's happening in the West Bank?
This is the known system of Hamas to punish and demand a price from those who executed as collaborators with Israel. And second, the second target or purpose is to prevent another. It means to deter another Palestinian to start cooperate with Israel. And I think that this is the hardcore system of Hamas. You mentioned before that it was the last time was at 2017, and now 5 years later, Hamas going back to the old and good way to punish those who are collaborated or suspected as collaborators, and to prevent others. I just want to remind that the commander of the organization inside Hamas movement that is responsible to find or to locate those who are suspected as collaborators are the leader of Hamas today in Gaza Strip is Yahya Sinwar. Sinwar was established this organization in Hamas movement, that the main mission of this organization is to find those who are suspected and to punish them. And I think that Hamas also prefer to advertise it, to publish this act in the middle of the town in Gaza, all over the world, by all the cameras of the media, to increase the effect to influence, to base on the simple fear, on the basic fear of the people that watching this event, and fear and afraid to start thinking about be collaborators.
A little more information here. I just want to mention here, this has been confirmed now as we're speaking here that Israeli rescue services, and I believe we have some images from the scene too of this shooting on the bus on Route 90 here, confirmed 2 people wounded so far. They've been moderately wounded. They're being treated and evacuated from the scene. So I guess a shooting attack confirmed now on this bus on Route 90.
This is very serious terror attack. I want to mention that it was happened on road number 90. Road number 90 is a strategic road which connected between the north and the south of Israel. I can't remember, and I served over there for many years in this area. I can't remember a terror attack which happened in this road. Just, I think that the last one was 15 years ago, in the end of the Second Intifada. So now we are dealing with a wide trend. I think it's a process that the IDF and the Shabak or the Israeli agencies have to deal with, and to find those cells. But more of that, to increase the operations for arrested those who are trying to add another terror attack.
Well, there's many that see this is already robust activity nightly by the IDF going into the certainly into the northern West Bank, not afraid of the Hamas, the Islamic Jihad presence there. These are fortified cities, Nablus, Jenin, major issues for the IDF. You expect to see that now ramp up in response to this? I mean, this is likely gunmen coming out of those areas.
You know, I think that the most, I would say that the problematic areas, you mentioned them, are Jenin refugee camp and Nablus area. During the last weeks, we saw Nablus area is also included in this map. We can see that also in the rural area around the Ramallah district, also full of terror cells. Part of them belong to Fatah, Tanzim, part of them belong to Hamas and the Islamic Jihad, and part of them are not belong to anyone, are independent on the ground. Work without any support from the top, try to achieve guns, pay for that, and being paid for that. And I think that the most... I would say that the challenge of the Israeli agency is
a complicated web of terror organizations.
The main challenge is intelligence. The main challenge is intelligence. Without intelligence, that cross all over, you cannot operate. So I think that we have a very interesting but a worry period, and I think that the Israeli government should forget the election, you know, and the political issues, but to operate more and more those security agencies and organizations to prevent a wide phenomena, wide trend.
And Alon, just to recap, thanks for all the analysis here. I want to just recap for our viewers, maybe tuning in here before we head out to a break. An attack has occurred on Route 90 here in the sort of northern half of Israel. This is the road that spans north to south along the eastern border here. So far, as we know it, according to reports, you're seeing images from the scene. 2 people moderately injured, 2 others lightly injured. So 4 injured from gunfire on that bus as it was traveling along the road. You can see some of the evasive action or emergency action the bus took after taking fire there. Alon Eviatar from COGAT and the IDF here, and the Palestinian affairs expert. Thanks for joining us so far on the issues here.